scraping by with my doomed biotech startup. But at my father's lavish 60th birthday bash in Malibu, I flipped the script in a way they never saw coming. A private jet landed, wedging it between Michael's gleaming Porsche and Sophia's polished Range Rover. The ocean breeze carried the clink of champagne glasses from the party inside. My father's 60th birthday was a spectacle: string lights, caviar, the elite of Los Angeles mingling. I stepped into the grand foyer, my simple green dress a stark contrast to the designer gowns. "Still rolling in that junker, Emma?" Michael called, smirking. Sophia raised her martini glass. "Hank's Autos could upgrade you if you could afford it." I smiled. "It gets me there." Their laughter echoed, sharp and smug. Mom swept in, air-kissing my cheeks. "Darling, we were just talking about Michael's record quarter at Carter Enterprises." Michael grinned. They had no idea what was coming. Dad clapped Michael's shoulder. "You could join the family business, Emma. No shame in admitting you need us." I glanced at the ocean. "You could have been part of this if you hadn't run off to chase fairy tales." I sipped my water, my pulse steady. "It's coming along," I said, voice calm. My father joined us, his tailored suit pristine. "There's still a place for you at Carter Enterprises, sweetheart. No need to struggle alone." His tone was pitying, like I was a lost cause. I glanced at my phone, a new message glowing. "Deal closed. Ready to roll." My fingers tightened around the glass. "I'm not struggling, Dad," I replied, meeting his gaze. Michael chuckled. "What? Still betting on that startup? When are you giving up?" Sophia nudged him, grinning. "Maybe when it bankrupts her." I tucked my phone away, feeling the faint rumble of a jet engine in the distance. "You'll see soon enough," I said, my smile sharp. "It's where you belong." I checked my watch, the seconds ticking down. "I belong exactly where I am," I said, my voice low but firm. The jet's hum grew louder, vibrating through the glass walls. A low rumble growing outside. I stepped toward the wide glass doors leading to the balcony, the Pacific Ocean glinting under the moonlight. "I've got some news," I said, my voice cutting through the party's hum. Michael snorted, leaning against a marble pillar. "News? What? You finally sold that little science project of yours." Sophia twirled her martini, smirking. "Or maybe you're here to ask Dad for a loan." Their laughter stung, but I kept my eyes steady, fixed on the horizon. "Not quite," I replied, my tone cool. "I just closed a major deal." A sleek private jet, its side emblazoned with the BioNova logo, descended onto the mansion's manicured lawn, its lights slicing through the night. The crowd gasped, glasses clattering. Mom's martini slipped from her fingers, shattering on the polished floor as she swayed, clutching Sophia's arm. "Emma, what is this?" she stammered, her voice trembling. Michael pushed forward, his face red. "What kind of stunt are you pulling?" Sophia's eyes widened, her necklace glinting as she leaned over the balcony rail. That's a jet. Your jet." I turned to them, my smile sharp as a blade. "My company's jet, to be precise." Dad stepped closer, his jaw tight. "Emma, explain yourself." I held up my phone, the email confirmation glowing. Sophia grabbed Dad's arm, her nails digging in. "That's impossible," she whispered. Mom sank into a chair, fanning herself, her face pale as the marble beneath her. I looked out at the jet, its engines winding down, the BioNova logo gleaming. 5 years of their mockery, every jab about my rusty Honda, every sneer at my pipe dream, had built to this. They thought I was the failure. Its BioNova logo glowing under the Malibu moonlight. The party stood frozen, eyes darting between me and the aircraft on the lawn. I held my phone up, the acquisition email stark against the screen. Sophia clutched her necklace, her eyes wide. "BioNova's worth what? 60 billion? That's you." I met her gaze, unflinching. "Every patent, every breakthrough, mine. While you were buying vacation homes, I built an empire." Mom, still slumped in her chair, whispered, "Emma, how could you keep this from us?" Her voice broke, tears welling. I stepped closer. my green dress catching the chandelier's light. You never believed in me. You called my ideas childish, my startup a failure. I swiped my phone, pulling up the signed contract. The board jumped at my offer after seeing BioNova's gene editing tech. Dad's shoulders sagged, his voice barely audible. Carter Enterprises, my legacy, Michael lunged, pointing a finger. The BioNova logo searing into his eyes. I tucked my phone away, feeling the weight of their shock. 5 years of living simply, driving that battered Honda, skipping their lavish dinners to fund my labs. It all led here. They'd mocked my thrift, my focus, my refusal to join their world of excess. Now their world was mine. The crowd murmured. The party's chatter had died, replaced by stunned whispers. I stood on the balcony, the ocean breeze tugging at my green dress. You thought I was alone in this, I said, my voice cutting through the silence. But I had believers. The jet's door opened, and Jessica Lange stepped out, her sharp blazer a contrast to the party's glitz. My old Harvard rival, now BioNova's key investor, strode toward us, tablet in hand. Jessica saw what you didn't, I said, glancing at my family. Michael's face twisted.
Lang?
You're working with her, he spat. His Porsche keys clenched tight. I smiled. She bet on my vision when you called it a fantasy. Jessica reached the balcony, handing me a folder. I opened it, revealing documents detailing Michael's hidden financial mess, a $500 million debt buried in Carter Enterprises books. You almost bankrupted the company, I said, holding up the papers. Fudged numbers to keep your bonus. Dad's whiskey glass hit the floor, shattering. Michael, is this true? He growled, his eyes blazing. Michael stammered, It's not what it looks like. I've been watching. Every move. Every mistake. Jessica tapped her tablet, pulling up BioNova's latest gene editing patent. While Carter Enterprises was sinking, Emma built a company worth $60 billion, she said, her voice cool. I turned to Dad. You rejected Biotech as a pipe dream. Said I lacked experience. I pointed to the jet. That's what my experience built. Michael lunged forward, his face red. You're a traitor, Emma. Stealing our company with your snake of a partner. I stepped back, unfazed. I saved it. And I did it without your lies. Sophia sank onto a chair, her dress crumpling. Daddy, do something, she whispered. Dad just stared at the documents, his legacy crumbling in his hands. I tucked the folder under my arm, the weight of 5 years, every late night in the lab, every dollar scrimped while they flaunted their wealth, fueling my resolve. They'd called me the failure, their faces a mix of rage and defeat. Time to show the world who's really in charge, I said, my voice steady as steel. Ladies and gentlemen, I began, my voice steady. BioNova has acquired Carter Enterprises for $8 billion. The room erupted, microphones thrusting forward. And Dad stormed in, his tie askew, Michael trailing behind, face flushed. Emma, stop this. Dad shouted, his voice raw.
Reporters spun, cameras clicking wildly.
I didn't flinch. Your legacy, Dad? I clicked to a graph of Carter Enterprises' losses. You lost 40% of its value in 3 years. Michael shoved forward, pointing. You're twisting everything. I raised a hand, silencing him, and pulled up the evidence, Michael's hidden $500 million debt. The crowd gasped, scribbling furiously. While you buried mistakes, I said, BioNova's value grew tenfold. A reporter shouted, Miss Carter, why hide your identity as BioNova's CEO? I smiled. To build something unstoppable, without interference. Dad's shoulders slumped, his eyes hollow. This is our family's company, he muttered. I clicked to a slide of Carter Enterprises' outdated tech. Your company was stuck in the past. I'm dragging it into tomorrow. Michael tried to rush the stage, but security blocked him, his curses drowned by the crowd's buzz. Sophia slipped in late, her dress wrinkled, eyes darting nervously. Emma, please, she whispered. Barely audible. I ignored her, turning to the screen. Bionova's gene editing tech will redefine medicine, I said, unveiling a prototype device that sparked gasps. Reporters shouted questions, their excitement electric. Miss Carter, is this personal? One asked. I met Dad's gaze across the room. It's about progress, I said. Carter Enterprises failed to innovate. Bionova didn't. Michael yelled, You're no Carter. I leaned into the mic, my voice calm but sharp. I'm the Carter who won. The room roared, cameras flashing like lightning. 5 years of their mockery, every jab about my Honda, my delusional startup, fueled this moment. They'd underestimated me, dismissed my dreams as childish. Now I stood above them, the Bionova logo blazing behind me, my Gucci suit catching the glare of spotlights. Reporters leaned forward, hungry for more. I clicked to a new slide, revealing internal emails from Carter Enterprises. These, I said, my voice slicing through the buzz, show how Michael and Sophia convinced Dad to block me from the board 3 times. The screen displayed their words. Emma's too inexperienced. Her biotech ideas are a waste. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Michael's face turned crimson, his fists clenched. Those are private, he roared, shoving toward the stage, only to be stopped by security. Sophia, her dress crumpled, clutched Mom's arm, tears streaming. Emma, why drag this out? She choked. I ignored her, clicking to a patent list. Every Bionova breakthrough is ours. Not stolen, as Michael claims. I gestured to a sleek gene-editing device on the screen, its specs drawing murmurs from the press. This single unit outpaces Carter Enterprises' entire R&D department. Dad stepped forward, his voice hoarse. You're tearing our family apart. I met his eyes, unflinching. You did that when you dismissed my vision. I pulled up minutes from a board meeting 5 years ago, where Michael called Biotech a dead end, and Dad agreed. The reporters scribbled frantically, cameras flashing. You said I'd never succeed. I continued, my tone cold but steady. While you plotted to keep me out, I built Bionova into a $60 billion empire. Jessica, off stage, held up her tablet, showing Bionova's soaring stock charts. I turned to the crowd. Carter Enterprises lost its edge because of complacency. Bionova thrives on innovation. A reporter shouted, Miss Carter, are you punishing your family? I paused, letting the question hang. I'm holding them accountable, I said, my voice sharp. Michael lunged again, yelling, You're a liar. Security held him back as Sophia sobbed, Emma, we didn't mean it. I clicked to a final slide, an email from Dad. Keep Emma away from leadership. She's not ready. The room fell silent, the weight of his words sinking in. 5 years of their scorn, every jab about my failed startup, my old Honda, had forged this moment. They'd laughed while I worked through nights, pouring everything into Bionova. Now their empire was mine. I leaned into the mic. This isn't revenge. It's progress. And I'm just getting started. The crowd erupted, questions flying, but I stood tall, their shocked faces burned into my memory. They'd underestimated me, but I'd rewritten the rules. The Beverly Hills ballroom hummed with frenetic energy, reporters scribbling. His handwriting stark. Emma's biotech dreams are bold, but too risky. I can't let her threaten my control. The crowd gasped, pencils pausing. Dad's face crumpled, his tailored jacket sagging. Emma, where did you get that? He whispered, voice breaking. I held his gaze. From your office. You hid your jealousy, but I found the truth. Michael shoved forward, his voice raw. You can't do this. It's our company. I clicked again, revealing the rebranding plan. Carter Enterprises is now BioCarter, a Bionova subsidiary. I said, my tone steady. I'm offering you all entry-level roles. Learn the future, or step aside. Sophia collapsed into a chair, her mascara streaking. Entry-level? Emma, we're Carters. Mom clutched her pearls, sobbing. Why are you doing this to us? I stepped closer, my heels clicking on the stage. Because you never gave me a chance. You mocked my Honda, my delusional startup, while I built a $60 billion empire. I pulled up a chart of Carter Enterprises' decline, its market share gutted by their outdated strategies. Your leadership failed. Mine won't. A reporter yelled, "Miss Carter, is this personal?" BioNova's stock up 20%. I turned to Dad. You feared my ideas would outshine you. They did. Michael shouted, "You're no Carter." I leaned into the mic. I'm the Carter who built something bigger than you ever could. Sophia reached for Mom, her voice trembling. Emma, we're family. Please. I didn't waver. Family doesn't sabotage. BioCarter starts tomorrow, I said. Join the training program or walk away. Your choice. Dad's eyes met mine, a flicker of defeat. The crowd roared with questions, but I stood firm, their shocked faces proof of my triumph. They'd called me the failure, but I'd rewritten their story. The glass tower of BioNova's Silicon Valley headquarters gleamed under the morning sun, its 80 stories dwarfing the old Carter Enterprises building. I watched from my penthouse office as my family shuffled into the lobby below, their tailored suits out of place among the sleek, modern decor. Security footage showed them clutching temporary employee badges, faces tight with disbelief. I stepped into the elevator, my Armani suit crisp, and descended to meet them. Your new workplace. Michael's jaw clenched, his Porsche keys dangling uselessly. This is absurd, Emma. We're not your interns. I gestured to the digital wall. Stark and undeniable. Sophia's eyes darted away, her hands twisting. We have experience, she muttered. Running it into the ground, I shot back, leading them to the elevator. My biometric scan unlocked the executive floor, and we stepped into a museum-like gallery of BioNova's achievements, patents, prototypes, awards. While you laughed at my failed startup, I said, pointing to a gene-editing device, I built this. Dad's voice cracked. Why hide it, Emma? All these years. I turned, pulling up his call logs on a nearby screen. Midnight pleas to board members. I led them to a conference room where Jessica waited with orientation packets. Your new roles, I said, handing them out. 6 months of training in biotech basics. Mom sank into a chair, her face pale. Emma, we're proud of you, but this, I cut her off, sliding an employee handbook across the table. You mocked my Honda, my apartment, my dreams. I invested every penny here. I gestured to the towering headquarters. 5 years of their scorn, every jab about my struggle, had forged this empire. Dad stared at the handbook, his hands shaking. Clutching their employee handbooks, faces a mix of defiance and defeat. Michael's jaw was tight, Sophia's eyes red, Dad's shoulders slumped. I straightened my Armani suit, watching them take seats among young engineers. They're learning, Jessica said, handing me a tablet showing BioNova stock up another 25%. I smiled. Let's greet our new team. The elevator hummed down to the lobby, where reporters waited for a family photo. I strode out, the BioNova logo gleaming behind me. Welcome to the future, I said, my voice echoing. Dad looked up. You called me a failure, I said, clicking to a slide of their old emails mocking my startup. While you flaunted Porsches, I built a $60 billion empire. Sophia's voice broke. We're sorry. We're family. I pulled back. Family earns trust. You'll start there. Jessica signaled the press. They're calling you the new queen of biotech, she said. I turned to the cameras, flashing a smile. Let's show them. The reporters snapped photos, shouting questions. I raised a hand. BioCarter is my vision now. Join it, or watch it soar without you. Move your Porsche. My jet needs the landing space. His face reddened, but he stayed silent. I looked at my family, their world reshaped by the sister they'd underestimated. Don't let anyone tell you you're not enough, I said, facing the cameras. I built this from nothing. You can too. Take that first step. Believe in yourself, act, and chase your dreams. I paused, smiling. If this inspires you, hit like, share, and subscribe. Tell me your story below. As I walked to the jet, The skyline gleamed, my empire solid beneath me. They'd called me the failure, but I'd shown them what a Carter could do.